ghosts and ghouls, bronies and ghouls, friends of all ages. Who here likes My Little Pony? I do. It's fun to watch. It makes me happy inside. And that's not something a ghost like me can usually feel. So it's nice. But how many of you have ever seen people in the costumes? Maybe at a special event you took your kids to. Or those creepy-ass furries who walk around dressed like animals all day. I have. They're freaky as shit. But still, they're worth liking. But sometimes, what if it's not a person in the costume? What if it's something else? Well, this story deals with that. What's in the costume, you may ask? Well, read and make your own choices. And why am I mentioning My Little Pony before this? Well, because it's a My Little Pony costume and I had to. So, this is Flutterschmooze by Optimus 4 Tomas. Sorry, he has a lot of S's at the end. Enjoy. Confidential Hasbro Internal Investigation Report regarding incident. Date of incident, 9/25/10. Time of incident, 12 p.m. Location of incident, Beverly Central Mall, 8500 Beverly Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90048. Meet the My Little Pony Characters event. Persons involved, Sharon Wilson, missing. Person writing the report, Donna Nixon, Hasbro, HR Legal. Summary of incident. On Saturday, September 25th, 2010, at the Beverly Central in Los Angeles, California, Hasbro Marketing had prepared for a meet and greet of My Little Pony characters. In promotion for the October 10th, 2010 premiere, 6 actors and actresses were hired to be in the costume for the event. See attached list. The meet and greet was supposed to last from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the afternoon, followed by another event the next day. After the incident, all future events have been canceled. 5 of the 6 main characters exited the dressing room and proceeded to the stage, except for Fluttershy, who is to be played by Catherine Wilson. She was the last to exit the dressing room. Problems arose from the start of the art that included an unusual odor and the assault of several guests. 911 was called at some point after the actress was escorted from the stage. She was hospitalized shortly thereafter. See Darrell Castle's attached witness report. Witness description of incident. On Saturday, September 25th, 2010, Darrell Castle was tasked with escorting the characters out from their dressing room onto the stage at the Beverly Central Mall. Miss Catherine Wilson, actress hired to play Fluttershy, was the last to arrive on stage. Already it was apparent that something was wrong. Miss Wilson appeared to be intoxicated. She was walking in an abnormal way and unable to travel in a straight line. When asked if she was okay, she merely nodded and proceeded forward. I also noted that her costume was filthy. Dark stains were all over the Fluttershy costume, with her eyes blacked out. There was a strange smell emanating from inside of it. At first, it smelled like bile, and when her legs briefly collapsed under her, they seemed squishy. Once again, I asked Miss Wilson if she was able to continue. Once again, she nodded, insisting that she would be able to perform her duties. I let her go on stage and called wardrobe for the spare Fluttershy costume we had in storage for emergencies to be brought out for her to change into after the first set. When they entered the stage setup for the meet and greet, all the characters went to their preset locations, except for Miss Wilson, Fluttershy, who continued to act in a strange way. She refused to stay in her area and kept moving around to the other characters' locations. More notably was how she interacted with the kids. Most of the children in attendance wanted nothing to do with the Fluttershy character. They constantly shied away from Miss Wilson when she approached them. Some of the younger ones began to cry hysterically when she got close to them. None of the other kids had this problem, as they were reasonably long lines for the other 5. When a few of the children got up the nerves to actually approach Fluttershy and pose for a picture, Miss Wilson started to act even stranger. She would grab them and hold them in a possessive manner. She would then begin to act as if she was going to devour said child, opening the costume's mouth wide enough for her to potentially swallow said child, at which point the child would begin to cry, and I would have to drag the child away from her back to the parents. At this time, I need to point out that the smell from the Fluttershy costume had gotten even stronger. More noticeably, it now wasn't so much as bile as it was the smell of rotting meat. It was quite strong, with guests visibly retching whenever she got close enough. In one incident, Fluttershy Wilson was clearly upset when a little girl refused to get close to her, as she avoided Fluttershy and walked back to her parents. Fluttershy proceeded to follow her out from the stage and onto the floor, still with the strange walk, and visibly tried to force the girl back to the stage. It was apparent that the girl was frightened by Miss Wilson's actions. It was then I approached the actress. I placed my hand on her shoulder in the attempt to direct her back to the stage. When I did so, I noticed that her costume was squishy. It was as if there wasn't anything solid within the costume. Whatever it was that Miss Wilson put into her Fluttershy costume, it leaked through the fabric onto my hand as I continued to direct her to the stage. It was black, cold, and stung on contact. At this point, I radioed security and had them escort the other actresses to the dressing room and to call 911 and the hazmat team to deal with a potentially dangerous substance that leaked from the costume. The longer I stayed with Fluttershy Wilson, I felt uneasy. It was as if a personal pure rage began to emit from the costume. She was beginning to terrify me. Even so, I stayed with her, keeping her separate from the other actors until the last one of them had entered the dressing room. When the last actor entered the dressing room, I asked one of the security guards, Roger Halsdale, to keep an eye on Miss Wilson, while I checked on the other actresses. Upon entering the dressing room, I noticed two of the Beverly Central Mall maintenance workers trying to enter the door to the mop room. Initially, I paid them no mind and asked the actors if they had noticed anything bizarre about Miss Wilson before they were to change into the costume. They said that Miss Wilson was already in costume when they entered. It was at this point the mall manager entered the dressing room to unlock the mop room. When he did, and the door opened, he screamed, "Jesus!" in alarm, which caught my attention. I ran to the mop room, and inside was Miss Wilson, naked and bleeding from her right hand, 4 of her fingernails missing from scratching the wall, her hand across the wall. In her own blood, she had written the following: "There are too many Fluttershys. They won't let me breathe. There are too many Fluttershys. They won't let me think. The Fluttershys hate me. The Fluttershys hate me. The Fluttershys are laughing at me." After that, the words became incomprehensible to read. The attached photo. It was then that we all heard the screams coming from the hallway. It was Halstead. His scream was followed by screams of several of the actors who had run to the door to see what was going on and were now in full retreat from the doorway. I quickly made my way to the hallway, where I gagged at both what I saw and smelled. Laying in the hallway was the lower half of Halstead. It was almost as if the upper torso had been melted away. Next to him lay the stained and discarded Fluttershy costume. The putrid smell of rot and death quickly enveloped the hallway, and I ordered an evacuation. Once outside, we met with the paramedics, who treated me for a minor burn to my hand where the black goo had touched it. Miss Wilson was babbling incoherently and was taken to the hospital for treatment and observation. Continuation of main report. We agree that with Mr. Castle's initial assumption that Miss Catherine Wilson had taken some illegal drugs and was intoxicated. We believe that it was a type of airborne psychotic drug that ultimately affected her the most severely, and everyone else in the mall to a much lesser degree, causing hallucinations. We believe that Miss Wilson had arrived early and released said drug while in the mop closet and then changed into her costume. By the time the others arrived on scene, it in the toxin had permeated the air within the mall. Due to Miss Wilson's longer exposure to it, her reaction was much more severe. How she wound up in the closet is questionable. We can assume that perhaps the others had simply not noticed her locking herself in it and were beginning to suffer the effects of the drug. This would explain the lack of the previously mentioned body of security guard Roger Halstead and the lack of any black fluid at the scene. The suit, which did smell awful, was incinerated at the close of the initial investigation. Miss Kathleen Wilson, who was committed to Baskermore Memorial Hospital psychiatric wing, disappeared 2 weeks after the fact. Federal and local authorities have been informed, and she appears on the no-fly list as we speak. We do not expect to hear from her again. However, we have told security to keep an eye open. A datum. It is unknown at this time who is responsible for inflating all of those yellow balloons with pink butterflies and rabbit designs in the room of Miss Wilson, nor is it clear who left the Fluttershy doll with its eyes blacked out in her room as well. We will have to conduct an initial investigation into who might be responsible for such actions and speak to with our manufacturer in China. These dolls aren't supposed to be on the market yet, and the fact that one of them showed up in a mental hospital is clearly violating our marketing and product policies. When found, the employee or employees should be terminated immediately to prevent further violation. So, my bronies and ghouls, what do you think of it? What did you think was in the costume? Me personally, I haven't got a clue, but I love these stories that happen to be about My Little Pony, but not about the freaking main six. The main six don't always need to be murdered or raped or blown their heads off. I get sick of that. I like hearing ones that are a little different. A little. Not about the main six. Well, this one kind of is. It's more in lines of Abandoned by Disney. About the mascot. And whatever the hell is in the costume. So what do you think it was? Me? I haven't got a clue. But remember to hit that like button and leave me a comment or subscribe if you want to hear more of my stories. This is Warlock Boo saying, hope to be spooking y'all later. Bye.